The world keeps getting better when women make it a habit to fix each other's crowns and exclusively focus on picking up the broken pieces in the lives of other women. With great passion for women, children, and marriages, your hosts, Ntwatwa Evelyn, Emma, Lorena, Diana D, Rhoda, and Lorita bring you the irresistible Woman to Woman reality talk show. Feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more about this eventful and exciting show. Woman to Woman reality talk show. You're welcome.
Hello and welcome to Woman reality talk show, where we have a heart-to-heart embracing womanhood. My name is Evelyn Ntwatwa, and today is super amazing once again in our second episode of fatherhood. With me today is Mr. Dixon and SP. I'm going to let them introduce who they are, but before I do that, in our previous episode, we talked about fatherhood. We jumped into fatherhood, the roles of fatherhood. If you missed that episode, just head over to our YouTube channel and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with a friend. So, back to the great men, the great fathers.
Dixon, you go first. It's amazing. It's woman to woman show, but then it's guys.
Today actually it is woman to men.
Yes.
Woman to men.
Interesting.
Oh God.
Okay, our friends, you are most welcome to this channel. We are happy to have you here once again for the second episode. My name is Dixon Tumurami. With me here is my friend Evelyn. We just invited us to come and be with her on a man-to-man reality show. Oh, my dear, I tell you. Now, I don't know if you also have fathers to fathers.
We'll have it soon.
But this is part of it. Now, we are here just because we want to talk to our fellow fathers, fellow men, the men-to-men issues. Yeah? So please, just make sure that you're tuned in very well. Sit to locally. Or be comfortable so that you can listen to what we're talking about and you're able to learn with us. Maybe for those who are just watching us for the first time, for this episode, for the first time, I want to say I am married with one beautiful lady called Prim Tumuramye, and together we have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. Very lovely, very wonderful, very calm, very confident children. And actually, we are very intentional in our parenting children.
That's good.
So we are just trying. We're not the best, but we make sure that we want to do our best as God is our guide.
Wow.
So that's what I can say. And please, as even as requested us to subscribe, please, that channel is for you. Who doesn't want to know what happens in life, the real thing that happens? So,
The reality
of life. So please, hey.
Thank you, Mr. Tumuramye. Mr. SP.
Thank you. SP is initials for Simon Peter Onaba, married to 1 wife for the last 17 years. 3 children. My hustles are quite a number. Typical Kampala. I love woodwork, do interior. I also do barbecue. You need to eat my meat meanwhile. Anyway, but my main hustle really is marriage and parenting. My wife and I run an outfit called Happy Marriage and Happy Child. So it's an honor, Evelyn, to be
And
here.
I'm happy to be part of that.
Thank
Happy
you.
marriage.
Yes.
Anyway, good to have you. It's a pleasure to have you this afternoon. And in this week, we are celebrating the fathers. And we have seen the roles that a father plays in a child's life and in our home. You discussed with us, you shared with us your experiences, how you're happy about being a father, the things you would love to change, the things that you're working on. But now let's look at the absent fathers. Why do men or fathers deny that ministry? I would call it a ministry because I know being present is allowing God to use you for what you're called to do, So why do the fathers resist that ministry of being present with their children? Even when the wife is not around, why do they do that?
So
for example,
Yes.
we have seen fathers, maybe they're not in the children's lives. They are single fathers, and then the children are with their mothers. And then here is a father who says, I have paid for your school fees. I sent upkeep every week or every day, wherever. I've done my best. I don't need to be there. Is that what a child needs? And why does a father chooses to be absent?
Wow. You want to shoot?
Evelyn, that question is very interesting.
Yeah.
And there's some we're talking of being absent. In my understanding, the way you're phrasing it is being out of home.
Out of home. But
Yes.
also, remember,
Uh-huh.
there are those who are inside the home.
That's why I was coming.
But they're also absent.
That's why I was coming now. So that we make it very clear for someone who is watching us.
Yes,
That our point is not about the parent, the father, who is outside home.
I think we'll get to that one as well.
Okay, but for now, I just want to make that clarification.
Yes.
That there are these parents who are present but absent. The
Absent.
present absent fathers,
It's an
and then the
absurdity.
present fathers. And where's the distinction? That yes, I am present in my home. I have come back from wherever I was. Maybe let me give an example of this working person, either in a corporate world or as a business person. So all the whole day was there in the other world doing my own things. Now maybe at 5 or 6 in the evening, I am back home. I am there physically present 100%, but emotionally, I am in other things. I am on my phone. I am watching TV. I came with office. I am now back home in my what? In my office. The office from the office, their side, back to my own home.
office.
So I am physically in my home, but I'm totally present. The children,
Absent.
yes, absent.
Yes.
Homework, I am absent. A child is sick, I am absent. My wife is going for antenatal or taking the child to the hospital, I am absent. So there's that kind of absenteeism in this child's life, even when I am present as a father at home. I think but sometimes when you're preaching to the converted, you don't know what to say. But now we're going to preach the unconverted.
Yes.
That now, the reason why I think some people get absent out of their children's lives, especially those who are present but absent, is maybe sometimes some of them do not know. Some of them think they are busy. And then they get shielded in that business, and then they forget that they have a primary responsibility of nurturing and grooming and mentoring and taking care of this person who calls him daddy. Then you just leave everything to the wives. I don't know if you have seen some men. I'm sure me and you could be different, that we have gone with our wives for antenatal, even postnatal, or for any other things concerning children. Out of 10 women that have come for that, only like 2 or 3 have come with their husbands.
Yeah.
Actually, usually it feels strange.
Yes.
To go for antenatal, and then you are. I'm in the midst of all of these bulging women,
Yes.
and then you are the only guy there. It just feels strange. But-
Strange, and it's common because I said that I have 3 children. I have consistently seen what is happening. It's a report. Now, last week we were reporting. We were taking our children back to school.
Yeah.
You take children even in the morning. You take your child to school, or it's a reporting moment. The time is beginning or ending, and if you carefully see, the mothers are more than fathers.
The fathers, yeah.
If the father has come, it's because maybe he's the main driver. So there was no option but to drive come and
so.
pick. But it's not as a primary responsibility that comes out of cheerfulness. So that's also another part of absenteeism. So maybe we take things for granted. We call ourselves busy. Sometimes maybe it's because of the culture. We want to run off from our own. Because the culture says that some of these things are for men, others are for women. I don't know who would find that way. But in the current context where we are, things have totally changed.
There is something you mentioned, Mr. Dixon, about not being aware. I imagine that maybe some fathers do not even know that they're absent. So who alerts them? Who tells them that, you know what, you're not present? Is it the responsibility of the wife or the environment, maybe the people we relate with, or where should they get it from? Because now, like, I'm a father and I'm absent, and I am not aware that I'm absent. All I see is I come home every day.
I provide. I'm doing everything.
Yes.
I think one way is for you to always now this is one way we are doing from the parents, the fathers. That by the what you're doing, if you feel like you are among the people I've mentioned about, you are so you need help. You need to come out of that. But also, even I think our wives can take initiative of saying, "What, my husband, I think I need you to be more present." Like for me, my wife has always reminded me that, you know what, when did you last take this child out? When have you done ABCD? And yet I always go with them to school. Every day I take them to school. But she said, but here, you have not done this. So our wives, you have a big role also to play in making sure that you remind us where we fall short of certain things. Don't be shy about it.
Okay.
But also our children are also very sharp these days.
They will tell
say,
you
but
that-
mommy, but daddy, for mommy does ABCD for us. For you, where are you? How come this? There's a time when we had planned for an activity and I postponed it. Again, at the time of doing it, I postponed it for the second time. He said, no, daddy. This will not happen. If you go first, we shall go on. And I went and they went on. Even our children now, they're now sharp. And also it reminds us what is happening. But I think you being intentional, because it begins from me, and then it flows. So how do I make sure that me as a parent, I'm so conscious and attentive and intentional in making sure that I am a present father in all its meaning?
Wow. So let me hear from Mr. SP. Why do men choose to be absent?
Evelyn, in all fairness, I think it would be great to... Okay, I am beginning to learn to go away from the generalizations because if it's general, it's general. It'd be great to just find out from individual dads who are absent because every scenario tells of its own circumstances. But as I've thought about it, a father who is present, but yet not present. Yes. One is, I would think about modeling the place where they're coming from. Perhaps where they've grown and the fatherhood they have seen has been the kind, and that's very likely the case, that the way we father today is being influenced from somewhere. Exactly. How we treat our children, how we treat our wives, it comes from a place. That's number one. Number two, sometimes it's just a sheer, like you said, Dixon, it's ignorance. Tetumani. This is all we know. This is all we know. And so we think that this is how it's done, and I am settled in it. Then I think that some of us are just big-headed. This is our way. We are not open to learning. So this is my home. This is my turf. This is the way. You can say all you want to say and so on, and unfortunately sometimes that just speaks of immaturities. It just speaks of your own incapacity. And I think that to flip from that in terms of those reasons for why dads can be absent. I mean, there's also this challenge of, I think in the last conversation we had, was the issue of just, life is just hard. And we've gotten to a place where, as a dad, as a husband, I go and I hustle. And then I come back. I feel like me, I've done my part. Let everybody now also do what?
After I'm tired, I've come back.
Exactly. It's the thing that says, I have earned it. And in some sense, you're right. But then you're also wrong. And so I come, I stretch my legs and so on and so forth. And I think that a conversation needs to happen to be able to enable a certain transition for change to begin to occur. So sometimes it's, as I say, I think we talked earlier, and I was talking about the shadows there where we come from. The shadows, certain shadows are so cast over us, and everywhere we go, the shadow just keeps doing what? Keeps falling. If you need to understand me as an individual, you need to look at where I've come from. It will tell you a lot. It will explain so much. That's just the reality and fact of life.
And
before you go on, there's something I want to add on concerning the other parents who think that providing is enough. I want to say that in our current context, we need to know that there's what we call it. Our children do not need our presence, but our presence. It matters much more than
not the presence, but the presence.
So that presence is holistic in nature. Its own approach. That at home, you as a priest, because as a father, you are the priest of your home. No. So, are your children with you spiritually? Are you the one who makes sure the spiritual nourishment of your family? Does your child have this thing of saying, if I have any problem, I can quickly run to my father? Can your child confide in you at whatever age? No, because each child has that element of knowing whom do I confide to.
True.
I know this is we are being challenged. Our children, especially the young ones, listen more to their teachers than
to
the parents. They come and say, but the teacher said, but you see my child. You know I am your child. I mean I'm your father, you're my child, and I love you so much. So this is what I'm saying. But daddy, you know what our teacher said? So do you feel like they believe more in their teachers than us? So how do you make sure that you help the child understand that you are of more authority in a good way? Remember, so that you're not forcing, but you are bringing it come out naturally, and there's no competition. But what you're saying is more important than the teacher. That means that you have to be in this child's life, and the child builds trust in you, and then can be able to come and even confide in you. And now when it comes to adolescents who are struggling with so many things in life, you know, they're testing, they're trying at the level of identifying, denial, many things happening there, trying to get their identity. Now, at that time, they're confused. And they don't know whether they should come to you or to mommy or the other person outside there. So at that point, it is you, the parent. Remember, in the first episode, you had asked at what level should someone be
in a child's life.
Now, that's why we were saying that, it starts from somewhere. There's no specific, at this time I should be there, and then the next time I will don't know. There must be a specific, it must be a good process you are doing together with your child. So at this point, when you have been consistently working with your child this journey, both of you find it easy to be in each other's life and confide. But then it's also good it doesn't cause any harm for you as a parent to be vulnerable to your child.
Yeah.
Because,
before you continue with vulnerability to your children, I'm looking at culture. Would you talk about, briefly, on culture? Do you think culture has told the fathers that, when you make money, because I've seen some cultures that the man, his full responsibility is to make money. Provide.
Financial
when you're done with that, the rest is left to the wife.
Yep.
Do you think culture is also affected in one way or the other?
Oh yes, because you see, we grew up knowing that the nurturing of the child, nurturing and caring,
is for
the woman, for the women basically, especially in our African context. But you see now these days things, and like for me, I grew up when my mother was a housewife, because I grew up in the village, which is so common. But now where I am, me and my wife are all working. We're all corporate. We're in the corporate world. Yes. So I cannot claim and say that everything is for the wife to be the one. I mean, in terms of nurturing, because she's not like my mother.
True.
So now we have to balance, strike a balance, because
culture and then modernity.
And modernity. How do you make sure the two blend together? That's why the challenge is that now the way things were at that time is not the same the way things are today. So how you come in and try to fill that gap matters a lot, because you cannot keep putting yourself fixed on that culture. It no longer applies in this kind of context where it's no longer meaningful that you remain stuck in the other culture when actually there's need for you here to fill the gap.
So there is need to
adjust accordingly, be flexible, and make sure that you, as the two of you and your wife, what works better for you. Because to me, you might find that you're the one working as my wife, but more for me, I stay at home. And now if I keep saying, but you see, nurturing
is for the woman.
Actually, what Esprit said that for him every morning he prepares breakfast for you. And it's intentional. And now it's in him, so it has become part of him. Now it has become a lifestyle. It's not his custom. That if he doesn't do it, does not feel comfortable. No one is forcing him, and he's not trying to do it so that he can please. It has become part of him. So even us, the point of culture should not be in this context. Should be what matters to us as a family. How do we make sure that we are raising children as this family in a very responsible and dependable way, so that all of us are doing our part in a good manner? But if you say this is for this one, and then you want to distinguish responsibilities and roles, I think in some families these days it's not applicable.
The world keeps getting better when women make it a habit to fix each other's crowns and exclusively focus on picking up the broken pieces in the lives of other women. With great passion for women, children, and marriages.
Your hosts, Ntwatwa Evelyn, Emma,
Lorena, Diana D, Rhoda, and Lorita bring you the irresistible Woman to Woman reality talk show. Feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more about this eventful and exciting show. Woman to Woman reality talk show. You're welcome.